Stephen Okun is the Chief Executive Officer of APAC Advisors. That's a public affairs consultancy. He's also a former Deputy General Counsel in the US Department of Transportation under President Clinton. And he joins us now from Singapore. Good to have you with us. So, almost a clean sweep for Trump. How significant is Nikki Haley's win in Vermont?
Zero. No significance in the fact that it's not going to keep Donald Trump from becoming the Republican nominee for the third consecutive time. It's really not significant in that it doesn't show us what we didn't already know, which is that Donald Trump is a very strong Republican primary candidate, but he has significant weaknesses as a general election candidate. Nikki Haley winning Vermont, Nikki Haley getting, 30–40% of the vote in other primary states shows that Donald Trump is going to have a challenge in attracting independent voters, more moderate Republicans, and that's what the Super Tuesday showed us on the Republican side.
So how should Donald Trump go about attracting those people who are not natural supporters of his?
Look, he really can't. And so what he needs to do is two things. He needs to get out his base, get that MAGA voter, and make sure they really, really go out and vote in November. And the other thing he needs to do is attack President Biden. And you saw that today already in his victory speech. It wasn't about, what he's going to do to take the country forward. It was about how awful President Biden is when it comes to immigration, how awful President Biden has done when it comes to the economy and inflation. And so he wants to suppress the Biden vote and amp up his base vote. And so that's what we're going to really see on the Republican side. There are so few persuadable voters left that it's not going to be much of a difference, but they'll certainly look at that.
OK, well, let's look at Biden. I mean, he lost 2 uncommitted delegates in Minnesota, also lost to a number of the movement in Michigan. How concerning is this movement for Biden? And these people are people who are against the administration's stance towards Israel and its war on Gaza.
Yeah, and so this is where the administration has some time, and let's see if they can overcome this. They have 2 things. One, you have to see, is their position towards Israel going to change? You saw Vice President Harris come out much stronger in favor of or against the human rights violations that you're seeing there now. So you're going to see the administration have certainly different rhetoric, maybe do different things. And the other thing is that the administration and the re-elect is going to have to show the voters, you may not like what the policy that we have in Israel right now is, but if you don't vote for me, if you stay home, what's going to happen is Donald Trump could win and you could lose your reproductive freedoms. You could lose democracy. And so they really want to make this a stark choice about what happens if Donald Trump wins, and to show voters that you may not agree with everything. You may really be opposed to what the U.S. policy is in Israel right now, but you still have to vote for me, and they have that case to make.
Stephen Okun, great to speak to you. Thanks very much for taking the time to join us on Al Jazeera.